And then we got to talk about how much money somebody could actually save over the life of owning an electric vehicle versus a gas-powered vehicle, because a lot of people think that they're going to be saving a ton of money, but the reality is the cost savings are really a lot smaller than you might imagine. Here's a perfect example of some data to back this up. The average age of a vehicle in the US is now 12.8 years, and that leaves a lot of time for consumers to spend on gas and maintenance, and that's where the cost comparison comes in. For example, if you were to buy a 2025 Nissan Leaf, that starts at $28,000, and over the course of 13 years, that Leaf owner would have paid about $63,000 as the cost of ownership for that car. And that's according to the US Energy Department, so who knows how reliable that is. But we'll use their comparison here because this is all we got. And they calculate things like the estimated cost of fuel, tires, maintenance, registration, licensing, insurance, and loan payments. And over that same 13-year lifespan, if you were to buy a 2025 Kia Soul, which starts at $20,000, which is a whole $8,000 cheaper than the electric vehicle, that would also cost you $63,000. Basically no savings. If you were to buy a Toyota Corolla instead, they say that it would cost you $64,000 over those 13 years. So $1,000 more to own the Toyota Corolla. So without any real cost savings benefit of owning an electric vehicle, I think for most people it comes down to just preference and choice and convenience of charging. And if, say for example, if you're running your charging system off of solar panels and using one of those Tesla wall batteries to charge your Tesla, then you're getting energy essentially for free once you've invested in the car and the charging equipment. And that can be really adding up to some savings over the years, and also just skips you the hassle of ever having to go and fuel up at a gas station. That's also assuming you probably only drive distances pretty close to being within home. If you're somebody who takes regular long distance road trips, I'd be willing to bet you probably don't own one of those electric vehicles. And that brings me over to the charging issue, okay? Because only if you have a house with your own charging station where you can just let the car charge for hours on end without having to worry about how long it takes, the charge time is a giant negative. Especially if you're somebody that wants to take a road trip with the car, then you're stuck waiting for hours and hours to have the car charge every single time you want to go long distance. So in order to combat this problem, we are looking at improving our charging network here in the United States. Now, China is leading the way when it comes to charging speeds. Earlier this year, BYD announced the rollout of new chargers in China, charging at speeds of up to 1 megawatt, and these can add 250 miles of range in just 5 minutes. Now, that's pretty good. I would say that's pretty much equivalent to a gas-powered car in that case. Not the range, but as far as fill-up time. You know, most people are going to spend 5 minutes at the gas station on average. So if you can actually charge your car up to 250 miles of range in 5 minutes, that's a win for electric vehicles. But the most common type of electric charger here in the US is only 350 kilowatt hours. But ChargePoint, which is one of the nation's largest charging networks, is set to introduce 600 kilowatt chargers arriving next year in 2026. Why are they not making megawatt chargers like they are in China? I have no idea. And that's 100 kilowatts faster than the fastest charging stations we have right now in the US. So they say not only will this dramatically increase the charging speeds, but also the chargers themselves will be smaller, which means that you can have more of them in any one given place. Right now, existing EV fast chargers can get an EV's battery from 10% to 80% in under an hour. They say that like it's an achievement. You know, that's a long time to sit there and charge the battery, like I was saying. But these new chargers are supposed to be able to drop that time down to 10 minutes or less. So that is a notable improvement. But there is a catch, just like there always is, guys. What is the catch? Well, your electric car that you own right now isn't going to be compatible with these new electric vehicle chargers. So everybody who owns an EV today, as I'm making this video, is not going to be able to use these new 600 kilowatt hour chargers. So what does that mean for you? It means if you want to continue having an electric vehicle, then you must buy a brand new one, because only brand new ones looking forward are going to be able to support this level of charging. How fun is that? Right now, as of 2025, the Lucid Gravity is the fastest charging EV you can buy with speeds up to 400 kilowatt hours. The new chargers are going to be 600 kilowatt hours. And they say even though we're going to get these new chargers, it's going to be a while before a lot of people have the EVs that can fully take advantage of how fast these chargers actually are. So the charging technology is actually going to be outpacing the vehicles themselves. So these new chargers are only going to realize their full potential once there's enough brand new electric vehicles out in the world that can actually utilize it. This means that you have to buy a brand new car. And I just told you that brand new car prices are already at record high prices. And I'd be willing to bet that if you want one of these brand new cars that supports this fast charging feature, well, you're probably going to have to pay a premium for that. And the reason why I sound so pessimistic about this, guys, is because I'm not against you if you want to drive an electric car. I have no qualms about it. Knock yourself out. Everybody has their preference for things in life. Who am I to say what you should or shouldn't drive? I really don't care. But there's been a lot of pretend and make-believe about how electric vehicles are so superior to gas-powered cars, yet in every facet, they are inferior when it comes to fill-up times versus charging times, when it comes to range that the vehicles can get, when it comes to charging accessibility versus gas station accessibility. And the only way to improve that in the future is to buy a brand new EV that's going to cost you a record amount of money.